Let me show you something I do here. When I can get them, I get these pork cutlets that are kind of like pork chops. I'm not even sure what the difference is. And if I can get them for like $1.99 a pound or something, does it show the price on there? And what I do is I buy them and I freeze them, put them in a double freezer bag like this. Individually wrap them, it just makes them so they don't all stick together. But they come apart if you do the saran wrap very nicely. And the other thing I do is before I freeze them, I do spice them up with the stuff like my garlic and pepper, a little bit of garlic salt. And I pull them out frozen like this, and it's perfectly fine. And they're already pre-seasoned, if you can see that. And how do I like to cook these things? Well, let me show you. I use this old George Foreman grill. But it is old and nasty, and I don't know how to clean it anymore, and the Teflon's come off, and I was about ready to throw it away or buy a new one or something. But you know what? I don't want to buy a new one. I've read bad reviews about it. What I do is parchment paper. Just regular old parchment paper. And my trick is I bend these edges like this a little bit. And when you're using a George Foreman grill, you've got to use a drip plate like that. And the thing is it doesn't flow off of there quite as nice, and you don't get as good a color on them. But you know what? It allows me to continue to use the George Foreman grill, where otherwise I wouldn't. And you cover the top part down, and then I plug in the grill. Some people say, or I know that they say you're supposed to heat it up, but when I'm doing them frozen, I think that works pretty well. Can you see the juices that are flowing into the plate nicely? That's how that's supposed to work. And there's what the parchment paper looks like. So let's lift her up. Now it just so happens on mine, I have to flip these things to get them to cook evenly. But I do like using the George Foreman grill. So you flip that, and we'll just gross stuff like that. But because I had bent these edges up, all the juices are falling in that. Put it back down, cook it a little bit more. You don't get the color using the parchment paper, but you certainly get, let me see if I can show you, certainly get a nice taste and a flavor, and I don't have to worry about getting botulism. Well, actually, I'm getting some good color on that, but I got to get the top part on that. So that's how that's going. Unfortunately, for my video I got talking on the phone, and I think I overcooked these, so I dried them out a little bit, but not a big deal. I look good. Put that on. And it did char up a little bit, but probably going to be dried out, but that's okay. And there's the parchment paper. And you just throw that away. And I'll tell you, the trick is I don't have to clean my grill now. Not that I was ever going to clean it, because I don't know how to clean it. I just unplug it. And see, the juices ran off nicely because of the folds I put into it. And that worked good. If you even have a brand new George Foreman grill, you might want to try to use the parchment paper on it to keep it clean. You'll never have to wash your George Foreman grill. So that's another good use of parchment paper. And there's some yummy pork chops. And what I do, these portobellos were a little bit, see, in the pan is perfect. These portobellos were a little bit, maybe a week old, so maybe that's why there wasn't as much juice in them anymore. And the mess stays on the parchment paper. Doesn't soak through. And I'll pair that up with and I don't have a mess to clean up. I'm in for a good dinner tonight. How about that? Okay, the uses of parchment paper. Okay, I gotta admit I overcooked the pork chops a little bit. I'm telling you, you take a bite. I tried this and I have to show you. put a pork chop, take a pork chop and the portobello mushroom, and oh man, portobello mushrooms rule. Oh man, that's good. The way I did those, that's so good. Okay, I'm gonna eat my dinner. See you guys later.